every day with your computers. We tend to build networks, and whichever contractor built your house, that's who you use to secure it. So you assume the contractor who built the house put good locks on. Do you assume when you build a house that your contractor put a good alarm system? No, you don't. You find a security company to put an alarm system. Well, in the computer world, the opposite is done. We assume that the network is secure and that no one is going to ever bother to trouble it. More and more in the Caribbean, in St. Martin, and whichever island you happen to be on, this is not the case. We need to build our systems with security in mind first, and then afterwards, worry about certain functionality. We also need to train our societies in good computer practices, but that's a whole long conversation that if I get into here now, it'll be scary. For example, we need to really stop as a society sending out forwards. It's very concerning on a security level when you constantly, anybody tells you anything, you forward it out via, now the popular thing is via BlackBerry Messenger. Last week or so there was a mad rush of people sending out condolences to Mr. Bill Cosby because he died, and everybody just received it and forwarded it to 200 of their contacts. We can literally, I remember a couple of months ago there was a power outage and people started forwarding a message, stop work, go home now, collect water because GB said there's not going to be water for the next 3 days. On a small island, that could literally stop your water supply. Because GB and St. Martin doesn't have a week-long water supply in existence. If everybody goes home and fills up all their bathtubs with water, you really will be out of water. So, just forwarding things and via emails, it's the same thing. It decreases your security profile, and it makes you very, very much more risky. Keys to IT security, you need to continuously penetration test. And this is more for big companies than for individual users. But you absolutely need to run tests on your network to verify if it is really secure. You cannot just assume the guy that did your computer work, your girlfriend's cousin who knows about computers because he had always liked it as a child. You can't assume that he set it up securely. And a penetration test is the only way to really determine if your network is secure. In a penetration test, what do? How do I stop that?
The other one should do it. Escape. Escape.
Oh, I got it.
Escape.
There you go. Good. Thanks. Penetration testing is where an expert comes in and actually tests the extremes of your network and does as if they're going to break into it to see, listen, how secure is it or how secure isn't it. Very important, the largest vulnerability on any network is always on the inside. Be less concerned about some super hacker, Uber hacker that's going to come from Timbuktu and hack into your network. Be much more concerned with the employee who you pissed off because you didn't give them the vacation they wanted and they've been wanting to get back at you. That is your biggest security risk on any network. That's not just here where we piss off employees a lot. Very important, these tasks, the testing and the maintaining and the confirming of your network security should be done in an accountable manner. In other words, you need to have a relationship with the people that are doing it. You can't just, call some guy up off the stage, off the wherever in the world and say, here, come and do this test. You need to have a relationship with them and they need to continuously monitor it. Several, and this, I'm going to give you a little example of this. Large Caribbean entities, governments, and companies have fallen prey to poor service and let's call them rip-offs due to companies that could not be held accountable. And that happens a lot in the Caribbean where we tend to assume that anything from far away is better than what we have here. You need to be careful with that in security particularly, and when you're securing your digital assets, because if you find a disreputable company, you'll have a problem. Another island in the Caribbean, not the northeastern Caribbean, further away, closer to the US, recently contracted a US company to come in and do a complete scan of their network security for the government, paid the company more than $1 million and found out afterwards that the company was owned by a felon, just gotten out of prison, was on parole, and it was a total scam job, and the government neatly covered it up. But they lost literally a couple $1 million simply because they assumed this guy was reputable because he said he was. But they had no relationship and they couldn't confirm it. Remember, the higher your footprint on the internet, the higher the risk becomes. That's important because we are now in a